All
Hey
right, Craig,
Martin,
how
how
you
are you,
doing?
sir? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So this
You
is us for the Show Me the Keepers draft. It's a big one, $20 a head, money to be won. So I was just discussing with Johnny before we come on, so answer this just to kick us off. So you've got the third pick. You've decided not to keep anyone. You've got the third pick. Is the thinking behind that that you hope that Doug takes St. Brown, and if he takes St. Brown, you get Genty, and if he doesn't, if he takes Genty, you'll just pick St. Brown right back up again. Is that the plan?
well, pretty much. I kind of like I've got a queue here. I've got a queue here. There was three players that I thought I might take over St. Brown. So I thought worst case scenario, I end up with St. Brown again. So pretty much, as I've looking. I was looking. There was Lamb, Genty, Nakua, even Jaden Daniels, and then obviously there's St. Brown. So I was like, I'm just going to leave them off, and then I'll see how it goes. And if worst comes to worst, I'll probably end up in the same place where I was.
I'm back up again. Yeah, that's what we were kind of thinking. That's exactly what we're thinking. You know that's the plan. I mean, there's no way Graham doesn't take Lamb and first to 101. That's an absolute given. Even though they let Parsons come over to us, and he's pretty bitter about it being a cowboy and all that, you know. But I was on the golf course with him this morning. He was not a happy camper.
I know. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? It's kind of you're pushing your chips in, aren't you? So it's the excuses are gone now, Martin. That's the thing, you know. It's I'm always saying, you know, we do it the hard way, and you know, we still get the playoffs, and we're always there, blah blah blah. Now it's time to put up or shut up, really, isn't it?
Well, I'd say that's just joined the Ravens and the Bills in that, you know what I mean? It's win or nothing now. You know, you've got to get to a Super Bowl because, like, Green Bay was it Rodgers that won your last one? I mean,
Yeah, Rogers,
so it's as I'm saying, it's pretty. I'd say the Green Bay and the Ravens are it's the exact same situation, you know.
absolutely. But do you know what? History's with us as well, Martin, because uh, Brett Favre won his Super Bowl at 27. Aaron Rodgers won his Super Bowl at 27, and Jordan Love is going to be 27 at the next Super Bowl. So, you know,
I
history's on his
I
side as well.
I seen that, and it was to do with them signing a big signing as well when they turned 27. Like each that year, they'd signed a big player in free agency or whatever, or traded for somebody. So yes, it does seem the stars are hopefully going to align for you anyway. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen.
It would be nice, but I mean, you can't. One player doesn't make it, you know, turn. There's still another, 15 teams have got to get through in the NFC alone, and a lot of them are very, very good, you know. So it's far from a given, but yeah, I would be lying if I said I wasn't quite excited now.
No, definitely.
I've got my
You
wee,
see,
my wee guys from my last year's Christmas calendar, you know. So I've got little Jordan and little Mika Parsons from the Cowboys with me
you'll
for
hate
luck here,
you'll hate to paint them.
you know. Got to be done and all that.
You'll hate to
Minute to
paint
go
them
in
that
the
green.
draft. So yeah,
So
this is an interesting one with the keepers, you know. So you've got you can keep maximum of two, and it's the first round and second round. Not sure everyone's understood that with some of the keepers that have been made, you know, but it's your first round pick for one keeper and your second round pick for your second keeper. And if you want to pick a second round one, obviously you've got to pick a first round one too. But you can also just start all over again, you know, rip it up, start again as you have, Martin. You've ripped it up and started that again, as has Graham and as has Doug. So there's three picks in the first round, and everyone else is picked. And there's still some tasty players there. And you know, as you were saying earlier, you know, Lamb, Henry, St. Brown, Puka, Genty, A Chain. There's some really tasty players there, you know.
definitely, I think your keepers though. I think your keepers. You know what I mean? You had Neighbours and Jacobs. I mean, if I had Neighbours and Jacobs, I'd be keeping them. I think actually, you showed you the
CMC.
slight difference. I just felt that St. Brown and Cook, I think they're just slightly worse than you two, actually, if you know what I mean. See, to be honest with you, see the thing this season that I've drafted I don't even know if I've maybe drafted Gibbs a couple of times, But St. Brown, I've not drafted him anywhere. I'm just a bit worried about all these big coaching changes. Not even just so much just like losing your offensive coordinator. I just mean like in general, they've lost so many coaches. So that is why I've not kept St. Brown, because I actually traded for St. Brown during last season. Like I did a trade with Groovy to get St. Brown. Yeah. So I was actually, you know what I mean? So I was happy to trade for him. So I knew I could get him as a keeper as well. But I'm a bit spooked by the Lions this year. So I've been kind of staying away.
I've been the same, to be honest with you. I'm actually more high on Williams than I'm on St. Brown this year, because St. Brown's going so much earlier, and I like Williams better this year. Not that I think he'll do better than St. Brown, but I think for his draft position, he'll have some big games. Ben, that's very unlucky. I mean, it's one of those things, you'll never do it again. We've all made that mistake once in this format, I promise you. But yeah. I'm afraid that Debo's going to do okay this year. He looks like he's fit and ready to go, So, but getting him in the second round's a bit harsh.
I think, to be fair, it's a 16-teamer, so I don't think it's not as bad as what it would have been in like a 12. Like 16 teamers, depending on what your draft strategy is, you're going to have to really I would say see, depending on how you draft, see a player like DeAndre Swift, you maybe be happy with him as your RB1, depending on how you draft. Like 16 teamers, it gets a bit dicey. You know what I mean?
I don't know you'd be happy about it, but it certainly can be the case that is your number one pick. If you don't, you take an end and you get your quarterback, and then you get a couple of receivers, and before you know it, you're stuck with Devontae Swift for your first running back. And it's just the way it goes. And that's it. You can never really be fully strong in every position. You've got to. There's got to be some leeway here.
Definitely, yeah, exactly. So, just for a heads up for everyone, there's only one trade that affects picks, and that was actually me and you, Craig. So, You've got my 5th round, is it? And I've got your 7th round.
I've got your 515, and you've got my 704.
Yeah, so the basic how that came about last year, I think the trade deadline's about week 13, so it's before the playoffs are confirmed, but you kind of know if you're making a push or not. So I finished 5th, and I think I was already in the playoffs when we made it, but I think I had a couple of players injured, so I knew if I wanted to kind of stay around in the playoffs and make any kind of push, I needed some more players. So I got 2 starters off you. I gave you 2 flex-worthy players, and then obviously we traded 2 rounds. And in a 16-teamer, those 2 rounds are that's 32 picks. You mean it's, or maybe even closer to 40 picks. That is a big trade. And you know what? At the end of the season, I was a bit gutted. I lost in the final, eh? So you're thinking you're a bit bummed. But this is a money league, and so I think I won £80 for coming second. So I guess the trade was worth it. You know what I mean? It worked out for me. It was worth it. So I am happy with the trade. But now I didn't get a title. Okay, I got a bit of money, but now you know what I mean. Now I've got to deal with this draft board now, where I've lost a pick.
You're second to last, and you're 15th. It's tough. But it's a good run, and it's this is exactly the format of our home league, and it's going into its 12th season now. And trust me, getting to the fight, getting to the Super Bowl is massive in this format. It's not everybody's done it. There's only in our league, there's maybe in the 16, there's maybe 6 or 7 that haven't even seen the Super Bowl, in 11 years. So it's tough to get there. So be happy with that. Obviously you want the title, but it's a great run.
Right. So now I'm on the clock here, and to be honest, I've got what I wanted. I've got the choice between Genty, Puka, and Daniels, and I have to admit, I was hoping Bax was going to take one of these guys to make my choice a bit easier. Mm-hmm. I am very torn here, and the only reason I'm going towards Genty here is because it's a 16-teamer for running backs. See, if this was a 12, I think I'd be going Puka or Daniels. I don't think I'd be considering Genty, but because this is a 16-teamer, I'm going to draft Jenny because I just think there's going to be less running backs.
If it was a 12-teamer, you'd get Jenny back to you. But I mean, Jenny could be a keeper for the next 10 years for you. You know, it's for me, it's a no-brainer. There, I'm actually surprised Doug didn't take him but right in front of you, you know, the second pick. And I know Graham was planning on taking him, but he just couldn't not take Lamb. I mean, you can't not take Lamb, you know. So, but I know
Yeah,
that Graham's intention was to take Jenny at the 101, but for the fact Lamb was there. So yeah, that was like for Genty to drop to you is very, very tasty.
I think it's Sean now. I'm just going to try and tag him in this chat because he's maybe not, because it's for one. Is it Sean for his keeper? Oh no, it's not. Who is it?
It's no, it's Sean that's on the clock. Yeah, it's because it goes the other way. Remember, the first 3 rounds are all the same way. So
Oh
it's,
yeah.
you know, it's so Sean's kept Jonathan Taylor, and he's not online actually. Doug will give him a shout, I'm sure, because Doug will see that he's not online. But it's come back along. Yeah, see, my keeper was Christian McCaffrey, and neighbours, no Jacobs. I went to check Jacobs.
Oh yes,
I was
sorry.
definitely keeping
Sorry.
CMC.
Yeah, sorry. I read that wrong, but yeah, definitely. But we just had the champion for last year, so we had Sim on. So that's the guy that's Simmer picking last. He was last year's champion.
Yeah.
He actually whipped me in the final. You know what happened to me actually, and it happened in 2 finals. I had Dobbins and Kamara, and both of them were injured for the finals last year. I'm pretty sure, and it cost me in 2 finals. So the final for this. So at the semi-final, I actually beat the person that had what I thought was the strongest team in the semis. Like I thought, if I beat them, I've got a good chance in the final because I thought they had the best team. And then Dobbins went down, and on top of that, I think Kamara was already out. And in the final, Sim beat me by like 40 or 50 points. It wasn't even close in the end. The injuries just wrecked me in the end.
That's our Alan from our home league. He's never been to the Super Bowl over there, by the way. But yeah, he done well to win this last year. He was delighted about it, and it's so there we go. That's Sean's went on auto for now, but Derek's taken Bucky Irvin right off the board there, and now we're on to back. Dougie's back on the clock. So after St. Brown. I think he's going to go running back here. I think he's going to go. I think he'll go Chase Brown. Oh, he took him at Hampton. He jumped down for Hampton.
Well, I like that. I don't think there's much between.
Now, Martin?
Well, the two. So I had 7 people in a queue for these 2 picks. So it's worked out. I'm between Daniels and Chase Brown here. And in a 16-teamer, I'm just debating: do I just go Chase Brown here, or do I go Achan? Well, you know what? I didn't put Achan on it because I didn't think he'd be here. So I'm going to go Achan. I'm happy. I'm over the moon with that. I didn't even put Achan on my queue because I didn't think he'd be there. So this is what I'm happy with this start. I'm very happy with this start.
He's a keeper for me in my home league. Achan, he took me the title last year, him and Johnny Taylor. So I've kept the 2 of them in the home league. But yeah, so there goes Chase Brown's went to Graham. I'm a bit annoyed about that. I was really hoping Chase Brown was going to come along to me. I'm not going to lie. That's but yeah, Graham's picked him up. So that's him got CD Lamb, Chase Brown, and Derrick Henry. So that's a decent start for him, you know. And now Ben's on the clock after keeping Deebo Samuel in a self-confessed error where he forgot to take him out. So I mean, Jefferson's going to do him. Deebo will do him okay.
So
Fairland today. There's Doug kissing ass.
Well, it wasn't a great. We'd ended up throwing 2-2 today. So, aye.
Oh, did you?
But on the upside, Man United scored a last-minute winner, so the day wasn't completely lost. But Johnny's he's went over just so everyone knows, the cash is, so if you win the whole thing, you get 140. If you become runner-up, which is what I did last year, you get 80. If you come third, you get 50. And fourth gets 30. And if you win the consolation, which is like, was that like the toilet bowl, you get 20. Plus you get the first overall pick. So that's not too bad. £20, like, so you get your money back and you get the first pick if you're the best, worst loser.
And that's it's to keep people playing through the consolations as well, you know, because if you're going you got to win the consolations to get the first pick, you know, and it's 1 to 8 from that point onwards. It gets first to 8th, you know. So just being last in the league doesn't mean you're going to get the first pick next year. You got to then go and win the toilet bowl. So that's why the trading's always fair as well. And you'll see people will chuck it one year, you know, they'll say, right, I'm out of here. I'm going to get myself a good few early round picks and I'll let go of my superstars, you know, but you got to keep that little bit there to be competitive in the consolations, you know, to make sure you're not that 8th pick.
So what are you thinking here, Craig?
So shoot, I'm up, aye. So, right, so what am I thinking here? So I've got Neighbours, I've got CMC, and who's sitting about here? So I don't want. Do you know? I was hoping if it wasn't going to be Brown here, I was hoping Hampton. I was going to reach down for Hampton. I'm not going to lie, but Doug's beat me to it. So I think I'm going to have to go. You know, I'm swithering on Tyreek Hill. I don't. You know, this is a late time to get him in a draft like this, but is he going to do it? Is he going to bounce back? I mean, he's. Yeah, I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill, Martin, because as I say, he's got the ceiling is high. You know, I know the floor's a wee bit low, but after last season, but the ceiling's very high. So I think getting him at that stage is a good pick.
It's just one of these. I have to admit, like I think, like it's one of those things where I'm probably going to be wrong here, but I am totally. I've not drafted Tyreek Hill anywhere. Even earlier on in the year when he was dropping a bit, I just couldn't bring him. It's like there's two guys which a lot like this. Can I just say the fantasy experts who are quite high on is Tyreek Hill because obviously the upside and Deebo Samuel. Like they seem to think Deebo Samuel is going to do really well. And these are just two guys where I class them as Cooper Kupp. Like, I'm just not drafting them. I'm just willing to be wrong on them. So I'm not like, so for me, I wouldn't take Tyreek Hill, but I know my opinion is very different to everyone else.
Well, I mean, I get it. We've all got those types of players, you know. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is mine this year, for example. You know, I've not got him anywhere, and I won't have because I'm not going that early on him. And it's not to say that I don't think he's going to be a good player. But you know, where he's been drafted, do you need him to be a top 10 wide receiver? And I'm not convinced he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver this year because, as like you, I think their offense is going to regress a little bit.
Yeah, that line's just really it's because the draft capital you're spending on these guys as well. You know what I mean? Especially like St. Brown and Gibbs, man, they're both first round picks.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
For me, all those changes and their draft capital hasn't changed. Like, see if all the coaches were still there, they would still be getting drafted in the same place. Like, because they can't get any higher. It's like I'm surprised St. Brown. Remember who was it last year? Like eight. Like why is St. Brown not like AJ Brown? Like why is he not like in a second? I think he should be a second rounder. I just don't like where St. Brown. Yeah. See if St. Brown was in the second round, I'd be more partial to draft him.
Absolutely, exactly. It's where he's going. It's not the player; it's where he's going for me. I prefer others that are around there. You know, I'd rather take Puka. I'd rather take Nico Collins. I'd rather take I'd rather take AJ Brown. So it's there's lots of players around there that are going around there. You know, I'd rather take Brock Bowers and get my tight end locked in. You know,
that's another guy I've not drafted this year. Is Bowers. He was in all Orkney leagues. He was like a first round pick, so I was totally out on him as a first rounder. I have drafted what's the Arizona Cardinals one? McBride. I've took him in a few places.
Back end of the second.
I've took him like somebody's drafted Bowers and McBride's went straight, and I've took Bowers straight after him. So I've been happy enough to do that. But Bowers just being a first rounder, that scares me as well. You know who scared me off him actually? Is Pez, because Pez brought up about Pete Carroll, and you look into it, and it's just so true. It's like, look, I'm not saying Bowers is not going to get anything, but I just don't think he's going to return that first round draft capital under Pete Carroll. I just don't. But we'll see what happens. It's just one of those players again. I'm willing to be wrong. See if Bowers was in like the second or the third, aye, I'd be more happy.
It's one of those ones for me. It's I mean I've drafted him quite a few times because at the end of the day he's a beast. Uh, You know, with Pete Carroll, I mean they always had wide receivers at Seattle. They don't have wide receivers, and LA, you know, I mean, they've had to go and pick up Amari Cooper back, you know, to bring back the old man. It's that Brock Bowers is the number one target, and it's for me, it's about target share, and he is going to get the targets, and he's a beast catching them. So someone's going to have to catch them, and
Well,
for
I
me, that's
agree.
going to be him.
To be fair, if I was somebody that's drafted Brock Bowers, I'd be a lot happier now with all this stuff coming out about the wide receiver wanting a trade and everything, because I think Bowers is
Yeah,
going to be he is going to be that wide receiver one probably. So if I had drafted him, I would be a lot happier now because I do think he like that is on the cards, you know.
I really do think there's a big drop off with the tight ends after George Kittle as well. I think Bowers, McBride, and Kittle, and then I think it's a drop off to a lot of guys that are very muchy, going to be muchy, you know. So I think getting one of those three, if you're going to go down that route, you know, you've got to grab one of those three as the onesies because they're going to be the strongest three there, I think, by a good distance. There
I
goes
totally
George
agree
Kittle
with
as
you.
well, 310.
Yeah, so I like what Suarez Power has done personally. I like Kittle in the third. I'd rather do that than take the other two guys in the first or the second.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You know, I don't hate that either at all. I've got to say, Kittle's going to be an absolute beast, and again with the problems they're having at wide receiver, you know, they go to him early and he's catching them. They're going to just keep going to him. They're not going to suddenly go away because Ayuk comes back or Jennings comes back. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Right, so what are we on
they're
this?
in Jigba to go with St. Brown, and who else did he pick? Oh, he bought Marion Hampton. He went down for Marion Hampton, which is a great pick. I think a good move there because he wouldn't have gotten back around here. Now Pez is on the clock. Is Pez not about? Is he out of?
Oh, let's try and tag him up. Let's see. To be fair, I think he might get autoed Ken Walker, which he'd love anyway.
Yeah, yes. I
Well,
don't know. It's Wilson and Malay that he's going to get autoed.
I can't even tag him. He's not even coming up on my list. Oh, there he is. Yeah. I've tried to tag
Pretty,
him.
I'm pretty sure Sean will have his order built as well. No doubt Gary as well. And I know that Keltman's out, but he's going to be coming in soon.
I wonder if what would you do here? So I'm looking at the list here. So Ken Walker is at the top of the running backs, and so is Trevion Henderson. Now I think these two guys, after them, I think it drops. Okay, so I think after Ken
I
Walker
agree.
and Henderson, there's a bit of a drop at running back. But then you taking one of these guys over the likes of Garrett Wilson, Harrison. I really like Adams. You know, this is the choice I've got here. I'm thinking, right, do I take Adams here or do I go for somebody like Walker or Henderson? Because one of them's going to be here for me. But then I'm starting three running backs. But that's like high tea, you know?
But see, to be honest with you, you know, you need the backups and the running backs as well because running backs get injured, you know. And for me, if it's me, I'm taking Henderson all day long if it comes to me. If Pez doesn't take Henderson, I'm taking Henderson all day long because I think he's an absolute beast. I mean, I hope you don't. I hope he comes round to me. But that you know, I think wide receivers. Yes, I'm out in Wilson now, but Harrison I love in that. But I do think there's other wide receivers in the next round. You know, you're getting a pick in 2 rounds' time, and I think those wide receivers still going to be there. Henderson might not be, and I think he's going to be an absolute beast in New England.
See, for my thing here as well, I think it's going to take a few games for Henderson to get up to speed. But because he's my third running back, that is not my biggest problem. See, if he was my second running back, that would put me off Henderson. I'd probably go Walker. And I've got Walker in the Orkney Bowl. So I'm thinking, let's give Henderson a fly here. So I've went
I
double
just, I
rookie
just
running
think
back. What could possibly go wrong?
I like it though. As I say, I like it. I like Henderson this year big time. See, for me with Walker, it's the injury stuff, you know, and I think they like Charbonnet there as well. You know, I do think they like him. And if Walker was to miss a couple of games and Charbonnet was to come in and knock out the park, which is very plausible, you know, I think you could see Walker's share dropping massively. So yeah, I'm cold on Walker as well this year. I've got to say, I'm scared of his injury prowess.
I'm actually really, I listen to Pez too much. This is my problem because I kind of wanted to like Walker. I wanted to like him, so I was kind of already there. And then I like, I've drafted him more than what I thought I would this year. So for the love of God, I hope he stays fit.
Well, he's got to stay fit because that's. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he stays fit, he's a beast, you know. But he's not played a full season yet, and I don't, you know, he's prone, and they feed him a lot, you know. So he's getting a lot of hits and stuff. Charbonnet's good. I just think it's too big for us now. And don't get me wrong. See, earlier in the summer, I was drafting him quite a bit earlier in the summer, but I've went right off him as the summers went on. I've got to say.
And going back to what you're saying about tight ends, I totally agree with you, Craig. See, after Kittle, if I'm not getting one of those three, Bowers, McBride, Kittle, I tend to just wait. You know who I've been drafting loads of, and I'm quite happy for him. Like I'm kind of hoping, I'm expecting something out of him. Is that the Seahawks tight end, that Ario? So like you get him, well, in a normal, yeah. He might go undrafted, but I've drafted him a lot. So that's where I'm taking tight ends. I'm taking like a safe guy later on. Well, I say safe, you know what I mean? Like somebody who I know is going to get volume at the start. So like that Bretton Strange, I've been kind of drafting him quite a lot. And then I've been taking one of these like later rookies to pair with him. So that's how I've been playing tight end this year.
Well, you should go and look at my teams because I'm exactly the same. I've been kind of hitting on a Kraft or a Kinnaird, and then I've been taking it's the New York Jets one that I've been taking, Taylor.
Yeah, Mason Taylor.
That's the one that I've been targeting. And I've been taking him a lot, and that's it. And I've been taking the two of them, like you say, you know, just so I've got the one to start with, you know, that's going to get some volume, and then hope that the rookie comes on. That's just how I've played my tight ends this year. So then Allen's taking Walker right behind you. So it's I mean he's got Gibbs, Walker, and Drake London. So it's a decent start to the defence. This is no one's ever defended in 11 years of the home league either. It's just such a hard league to defend from last pick, you know.
I think that's a great start. Sim will be very, very happy with that start. He will be. I mean, the only downside is like you're saying, like is Ken Walker. But I think like I'm saying, I don't see if I hadn't took Ken Walker and Orkney, I probably would. I think I would have took him, to be honest. So I think he's had a really strong start. But it's later on where obviously picking last and it's a 16 teamer, that it's going to hurt later on. Like see that 5th round pick you've got from me. That's going to see. I need to think about this now. So Sim's made my decision a lot easier. So I was between Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson, and I just wasn't. See, if I already had a wide receiver, it would have definitely have been Davante Adams. I would have definitely took him, but because I've not got a wide receiver yet, I just kind of want that number one guy. So I'm going to draft Garrett Wilson here because I'm not even thinking about the onesie positions because you've got my pick. So I can't, like, if I was to take a onesie here, I think I'd be really hurting my team. So I'm going to draft Garrett Wilson, and I'm quite happy with him to be my wide receiver one.
Yeah, I mean, he is a wide receiver one, you know, and it's if Fields can get it together, that is going to be his target. Again, we're looking at target share there, Martin, you know, he is going to get a lot of targets. And if Fields can get it together, then Wilson's going to have a great season. But yeah, so I mean, it's not a bad pick. I have to say though, I'm out in Adams this year, massively out in Adams. I've got Wilson quite a lot. I've went colder on him of late, but I've just not drafted Adams anywhere. I think that Puka's going to be the man, and I'm worried about Stafford being old and cricket, you know. So I've kind of out on Adams. It's not put me off Puka so much, but not that I've got Puka much, but I just think it's time for Adams to drop off now. You know, it has to come.
See, for me, Puka's just been somebody else. I've drafted him a couple of times, so you know, just sometimes you're in that position, like towards the end of the draft, like you sometimes just have to like you'd be stupid not to take him if you know what I mean. So I've drafted him on
Yeah.
those occasions where he's kind of maybe like when you've been on the turn and you take like Nico and Puka together, or something like that. That's where I've been taking him. But in general, I've been drafting loads of Devante Adams because I just think there's a lot of risk with Puka, and I think Devante Adams, because he's at a discount, I'd rather, and you're getting a bit of the Rams offense. So I've been
Yeah.
taking Devante Adams as like my second or third wide receiver, and I've been really liking that.
I've been liking Kieran Williams from their offense. It's where he's been going. I think he's been dropping too far, and I've been picking him up quite a bit. It's I don't see why he's dropping that far. He's obviously the number one. The two that behind him aren't anything special. He's going to get a lot of touches of the ball, and McVay seems to love him. So I'm kind of all in with Kieran Williams this year. I have to say.
Oh,
I hear
I
it's coming
totally
back
agree.
to 1K again.
Well, I totally agree with you on Kyron. I had him last year in loads of places, and he was just so honestly, he's the most. You love him because he's so reliable. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean. You just he's great. To be fair, my kind of three favourite players for last year, I've not got them anywhere because they've kind of went a bit up in drafts. Like Kamara, Kyron, and Lad McConkey. I loved those three players last year, and like all of them, just the way I've been drafting, they just kind of they're just that a bit higher that I've not drafted. Like I've maybe took Kyron in a few places, but see Lad McConkey and Kamara, I've not got them anywhere, and the players I really like. Sorry, I've got Kamara in that Pork and Pez Dynasty League, and that's the only place I've got
yeah,
him. And that was because that was quite early on in the season, and so he wasn't like he's a third rounder now, Kamara. You know.
yeah, yeah. He's moving up for sure.
So what are you thinking here with your pick?
You know that way. The running backs are starting to thin out already. And it's a one. It's as Doug says, it's a 1 point. It's a point PPR. So you got to look at your receivers first and foremost. But I'm starting to worry a little bit that the running backs are getting pretty thin on the board already. Now, I really like Caleb Johnson. I have to say, I really like Caleb Johnson, but I don't know that I
Yeah.
can go down and get him at this point. I don't know that he comes back round to me though, because I think Graham might take him. And for wide receiver, what's there at wide receiver? Right, I've got no interest in DJ Moore whatsoever. Obviously not Rice. Devontae Smith. I like George Pickens this year. I'm going to go. I'm going to take. I'm going to take Caleb Johnson and just hope that that's a back end of the season. He's going to come on. He'll take the job off of Warren,
So
and I'm
what
going to
running
draft him there.
is that your first or your second running back?
It's my second running back, so it's I've got
Oh,
two now, so I'll start kind of looking at in the receiver end when it comes back around to me the next time around. But I like to get my two running backs in there, and I know that I'm going to need another starter now. But I can get one when it comes back around again. There'll be other ones kicking about, whether it be Chubb or Dobbins or Eckler or one of these guys is going to be kicking about that I can plug in. And see, even if I don't, it's a point PPR. I think it's more important to get your receivers in who are going to be catching the ball.
definitely could be. The reason why I went on it is that see for me that 16 teamer thing, it just scares me with running backs. Like I just like to get them, you know what I mean? Because I think
Oh,
you can.
definitely. I mean, it's not a bad idea to get those running backs in, because you are going to need them to get hurt. And if you've got three good ones, you can still play. It's not like because it's a PPR, a running back's not going to. You can't play a running back in a flex. Of course you can. If you've got three really good running backs, there's two flex spots. That's what they're there for. Put one in a minute.
No, exactly. Actually, I was wondering, did you not consider Swift and Pollard there? Because that's where I'd find it hard to take especially I don't know. Like I know Pollard, he's going to be on a bad team, so I think he's just a starter. You're not expecting much, but I don't know. I think Swift could really. I think he's just going to naturally put up good numbers. I find it hard to take Caleb Johnson over Swift, even if I like Johnson more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy for me. I've never been in on Swift, never in his whole entire career, and I'm even less in on him right now. I know that there's not much there behind him, so you'll get touches and he's going to get the touches, but that they're lighting that McGonagall or whatever his name is, and Johnson might get some of the goal line stuff like he did last year. So I couldn't be more cold on Swift. It's easy for me there. I wouldn't take Swift in the 6th or 7th round. I really wouldn't.
See, I've actually been taking Swift as my third running back in quite a few places. Even though at the start of the year I've took Caleb Johnson in a few places, but I've just kind of grown on Swift, and I'm the same as I don't think he's a good enough player either. But I just find myself I just see him and I'm thinking third running back. He's like a wee safety blanket. We'll see if it works out or not. But that's who I've been taking.
The last time Ben Johnson had him, he got rid of him. Let's not forget that. He shipped him off to the Eagles. So it's everyone seems to think Ben Johnson coming in is a good thing for Swift. It's not. He got rid of him last time. But we'll see. He might. As I say, he's going to get touches. They're going to be out there. I just think they're going to try and throw the ball a lot. I think they're going to try and prove that Caleb Williams is, as a number 1 draft pick. And I think they're going to go to the air a lot.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I do like him. Thing is, see, the other thing with DeAndre Swift, though, I tell you what, you could take him here. That's what I'd be if I was you. I'd be taking Swift. Honestly, I'd be smashing that Swift button, but that's just me. But what I like about him as well, though, there's nobody like that. Roschon Johnson. Apparently, he's had a horrible summer. Apparently, so I don't think folk were worried about him, and I just think, I don't know. I just think he's safe. I don't think he's. I just think if you get an injury, you're putting Swift in. All right, okay, that's fine. But that is just me. Now let's see.
Yeah,
you've got 2 picks. You've got 2 picks. You're up, by the way, but you've got 2 picks.
I know. Yeah, I know. So I'm looking at wide receiver now, definitely. I've got 2 running backs now. I'll worry about the running back position later on. But there's loads that I like here, and that's my problem. I like Flowers. He's the number 1 there. I like you. I love JMO. I think he's going to do really well this year. I think he's, I think they're going to be in games a lot more, and his downfield threat is massive. So I really like him this year. I'm not interested in Travis Hunter in a non-IDP league. I think I've got Hill, so I can't go Waddle. I like Ridley again. I think Ridley's going to get a lot. I like Olave. I think if he stays fit, I think he'll get a lot. But I've got to go. I've got to go with the one that I've been drafting quite a lot this summer, and one that I really think is going to go well. I've got to go with Jamo Williams, and just pray to God that he doesn't do something stupid and get suspended again.
I agree with you, but I've took Ridley and Orkney. I'm sure I've got Ridley and Orkney. Waddle, I think he's a great pick this year. I've not drafted him much actually, but at the start of the year I was. But I think I was taking other players over Waddle, and I think that might have been a mistake. I was kind of high on him, and then I kind of went away from him. And I do think he's going to have a great season. But those last 2 wide receivers, Waddle and Ridley, I really like those. I like those 2 picks.
I like Ridley. I'm not so much. I see that the problem is I like Hill where he's going this year. I think Hill's going late this year for his ceiling, and you can't be in on Hill and in on Waddle, So it's
no.
Well, you can be, I guess, but I'm very much. I like that Hill's dropped out of the kind of first couple of rounds, and I seem to be picking him up a wee bit more. So I'm not so in on Waddle, but it's just as I say. I don't think you can be in on both. But yeah, I like Ridley. I think Cooper Kupp batches went with Kupp there. That's a pick that kind of. I don't think he's got it. I think Cooper Kupp's finished. I really do. I don't think he's got much left, and I know he's picking him up. Oh no, it's not. It's Patch Brown's fan, isn't he? But yeah, I mean, I just don't think he's going to do much this year. I think it's going to be the Jackson Smith and Jigba show in Seattle, and they'll run the ball.
I'm worried. It's see with Cooper Kupp. I've not even looked at his numbers and that behind he's playing it, but it's just the eye test with Cooper Kupp for me. I just really didn't like the way. It's the same with Debo as well. I know, everyone's talking about Debo, and I could be totally wrong on Debo. A lot people that look into the stats a lot more than me think he's going to be great. Oh, not great, but think he's going to have a good season. But see for me the eye test with Cup and Debo, it just makes them out. That's just the thing with me.
Yeah, I mean it's but I mean I've got Debo in a couple of dynasties, so I've got to hope that it goes well. But I've not been drafting him. I've got to say, and again, it's not to say I'm not out. I'm totally out on him. I wouldn't mind if I had to draft him, But yeah, there's just too many question marks.
Johnny's saying in the comments he's been sniped twice. So things you love to see.
That's it. Yeah, well, Pickens was one I was waiting on there as well. I've got to say, I would have loved Pickens to come back, but I'm happy with JMO. And there goes Sam Laporta to Groovy, and then Suarez Powers taking Aaron Jones. Keltman's taking Lawrence. Is that 3 quarterbacks that Keltman's got? Oh, that's a bad auto.
It keeps
He's put them in order. He's put all the ones up, but he's done quarterbacks first, and then running backs, and then wide receivers, and then tight ends. That's what's happened there, and it's picking up his quarterbacks first. Oh, he's going to have a nightmare when he comes in.
Oh no!
What a disaster!
God, that's what I'm saying. See, Barks, he's going to be. I said to you at the start of this. Did I not say somebody? Swift could end up being your running back one, and I think that's what's happened to Barks. Is that? Right,
running back one.
Right, you've got your extra pick here. Who are you thinking?
Yeah, so it's here we go. So I'm back in again, and the running backs. There still are a couple of running backs there. That's very playable. But I think there's ones even further down. I think that are I'm willing to wait on. So I think I can go wide receiver here again. It is an extra pick, and I see that Flowers is still there, and I see that Olave is still there. Olave, you're just scared of the quarterback, aren't you? And you're scared of another head knock. I mean, it could be the end of him. I could reach down and get golden. Oh no, I know exactly where I'm going. It's all right. I know exactly where I'm going.
It is interesting. I think these wide receivers are going to be going off pretty soon here. Oh, there's Tracy. See, who are you bigger on? It's you on the clock, by the way. But are you bigger on Tracy or Scatterable? Because I prefer Scatterable personally.
Well, I think it's going to be the tale of two halves, Mark, to be honest with you. I think Tracy's going to open the season up, and the more Scatterable plays, the more touches he gets, the better he'll get. And I think it will flip over to him by the end of the season. So I'm kind of out on both in a redraft sense. I'm very much in Scatterable Dynasty, and I've got them quite a few. But I'm very much out on both of them for redraft. I just don't. I think it's that they're going to beat each other up too much. But this one I'm going down for. This is very much injury led as well, and I think he's an absolute beast. I think he's the best wide receiver that's came out of the draft. I think he's going to prove it. He's got Godwin's out. He's got Jalen McMillan, who done really well at the end of last season, is now out. He's going to the bona fide number 2, and I'm sorry, but by the time these boys come back, it's going to be too late. This boy's going to be flying, and I'm drafting Ibuga of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because
I was hoping that I wasn't sure he was going to get past Sim. I thought Sim might take him. So yeah, it's a good pick. I was hoping he was going to make it back round. When I knew you had my pick, I was hoping for a Booker. That's who I was hoping for. So very good pick. And Pez, I love you, pal. Where's the love? I mean, you picked my team. I'm happy. Cork and Johnny didn't pick my team, but Pez, he gave me some love. He picked my team in the Orkney, so I'm happy with
that. No, he's with Pacheco and Tracy leading his back line up. I'm going to go with thanks for the donation, Pez. See you next year, pal.
So let's have a look at Johnny's team, because Johnny Johnny sets all this up. Johnny does all the great work. I mean, you know what I mean? We love Johnny. Without Johnny, we wouldn't have all these great leagues. And he sets up all these live streams for us. He's always busy. So let's see where he's went. So he's got Brian Thomas, and then who's his second keeper? Is it Bucky Irvin? No, that's not Johnny. He's got
Kyron Williams. He's kept Kyron Williams.
And Brian Thomas, Kamara, Judy, Pollard. That is a solid start. I do question that Judy pick though. He must. I mean, with Flacco, I get it. Eh? Judy could
It's
go to the
Flacco.
moon.
It's a
But he
Flacco
did take
effect.
him over. I would prefer Ridley there personally over Judy, just as my first wide receiver. But I mean, you take punts on who you like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Judy pick. I've got to say they're all, at those points, they're all the number kind of one, and it's what your favourite, what pick your poison, with Judy, Moore, Worthy, and then Pickens and Smith and Williams are three really strong number twos. Ridley, they're the number one. Even Jalen Waddle. It's pick your poison. What ones. What ones you want to roll the dice with, and I don't mind them being Judy because, as you say, the Flacco effect. Now, if Flacco can be half the player he was the last time he was at the Browns. Judy's going to get a lot of touches, so I don't hate it in any way.
Yeah, you're right. They are. I suppose it says picky poison, but this is Sims made he's took Rashi Rice. I think that's early for Rashi Rice. I know.
I mean, it's 6 games in it. That's Alan saying, "Come get me, bitches. I'll see you in the playoffs with Rashid Rice." That's what he's saying. He's saying, "I'll lose it. If I go 3-3. If I'm 3-3 after 6 games with Rashid Rice coming back in week 7, come catch me." That's what he's saying.
I think as well. Like I think me and Sim are in a similar position here. You've got to take some risky maybe players you wouldn't normally take, but I think that's just a bit early for Ashley Rice personally. I'm just, like I've given a pick to you obviously, and I'm a pick down. So later on I'm going to have to take players I wouldn't normally draft. I think, but I just think that is 6 games is a lot. I hope I'm playing Sim. I don't even. Oh, it's 3 divisions in this. It's 14. I don't know if Sim's in my division or not. I'm hoping he's in my division because I want to play him in these first 6 games.
He is very much in your division, yes. Your division is Graham Farquhar, Johnny, Alan Sim, and yourself. That's your division.
I tell you what, that's a monster division. The top two came from the same division. Me and Sim's lifting up this division, eh? Oh, that's a great pick by Sim. Ricky Pearsall, that is a great pick as well. He's went a bit early on him, but I like it because he would never have got back.
That's what you got to look at this stage. You as well. What you're thinking here? Because if you don't take them now, they're not coming back. If you go down, 30, almost 30 players. So it's.
I know. So do I go with somebody like Zay Flowers, he's just kind of going to get what he's going to get? Because somebody I'm not high on is Aroma Dunze, but other people seem to like him.
I'm really I just think too many mouths to feed there in that Chicago offense. Too many mouths.
I know. I am struggling here, to be honest with you.
These middle rounds are the hardest, aren't they? It's because there's kind of so many that you kind of I don't mind them, but I don't love them. I find these rounds difficult as well.
This might come back to bite me, but can't. Oh, I'm struggling here. I'm trying to think who I'm going to go here. I think all these guys are much of a muchness.
That's the thing. They are. It's pick your poison. Where are you looking? Are you looking at running back, wide receiver, tight end?
I'm going to go Zay Flowers. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I was looking at other players, and they're on. I was looking at other players, and they're all worse teams. And I was thinking, you know what I mean? I was like, this was the number one offense last year. Also, I'm a Baltimore fan, obviously, as well, which doesn't help things. I think Zay's one of these guys, though. He will just put up consistent points. Like he's Mr. Reliable. So I would have, to be honest, looking how that went, I was a bit unlucky. I would have liked Igbuka. I think I probably would have took Pearsall over Flowers as well. So the 2 guys I kind of would have liked went just before my pick.
I mean, Flowers is going to be fine. As you say, Flowers scores points, and he's the number one in a top offense. He's number 1 target. So I get the distaste for it. I really do. But at the same time, it was a smart choice. It really was for wide receiver the best choice to make there. I know that it's a wee bit kind of wee bit vanilla. but he's going to score you 10 points a week, you know.
Well, I was between Golden. I nearly reached down for Golden, and I just thought, though, how can you take him over Zay Flowers? That I struggled. That was the thing. The guy who I nearly drafted, though, I went over it. I went to push it, and I just couldn't do it. Like my thumb wouldn't draft him. Was that Myers at Las Vegas?
Yeah, I don't. That's another one that I'm on the fence with too. That would be even that would be even smellier pick, but you know, one that you don't mind doing.
I know, like Alan Sims made a good point here. Is there going to be any QBs left? I mean, see if Keltman keeps Otto and QBs. I'm gonna, but
Well, that's
I'm
what
gonna.
he's done. He's listed. He's done his
Aye,
list. He's done his queue, but you know, so that it takes it one at a time. But instead of ordering them, he's just put them in, and then he's not ordered them. So all the quarterbacks are at the top. I genuinely think another quarterback might go here. I'm thinking because this is him kind of looking it down and going, seeing where he's going afterwards. You know, so I reckon you might get like a Jordan Love or a Justin Fields going here for Keltman. I
well,
really
if it
do.
does, it's going to force a lot of people. If he takes a QB here, like I've got, obviously your pick in the seventh. So if Keltman takes a QB here, and any more go off the board, it's going to kind of force me to take a QB in the seventh round here, which
Yeah,
isn't ideal.
I might have to take one in the sixth here, you know, if it does go another one here, because they're going to run out pretty quick. But he can't hold on to them all because the bench is shy, so he's going to need to drop them into some of them into agency, you know. Oh no, he's on his tight ends now, so we're going to get a run of 5 tight ends. We better take some tight ends, Martin. Take your tight end now.
Bretton Strange in the seventh. Oh.
Where Baxter gets Bo next, he panicked. But Dougie put the panic stations in and drafted Bo next just in front of him, just in case.
But I will give the drafter some credit here. I tell you what shows that I think this is quite a high level drafting going on here is the fact that Waddle, Ridley, Igbuka, and Pearsall all went before Zay Flowers. I think because I do think that won't be the case in a lot of leagues, and I think that is the way it should go. I do think those guys should go before Zay Flowers, but seeing 90% of your leagues, I think you'll find that Zay Flowers goes before those guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a strong league. It's all strong players that are in it. The boy that's sitting next to me and it's on Nottingham now, Sean Douglas, he's won our home league 4 times in 11 years, 4 times. He finds a way, you know, he loves a good trade. Right, so this is me up now again. So do I need to go about one of my onesies here, or do I just fill in the last spot in the flex? Now I know the quarterback that I want to get, but I've not got my seventh round pick. That's what I've got to think. So I've got to wait now for it to come round a chunk of change, you know. So it's who's going to be about when it comes round to me at wide receiver, who's going to be about at running back, and does that mean I have to take one now, or could I just leave it, pick up what? Because what quarterbacks are going to be there when it comes back round? Tight end. I'll worry about that later on. I'm not even thinking about that. But there's ones that I like here, you know. I'd like to take Eckler. I really would. I don't get the love for, you know, kind
I
of
think
Bill
Eckler's going to be one
Cosby.
of
I
the
mean,
steals.
he's
I
going to
agree.
do
I think Eckler would be a great pick. I agree with you. I like Eckler.
Eccles number one there, and it's yeah. I mean, he's
He's good
going
at
to
the
get.
goal line as well, though.
He is, and he catches them. He's a he's a 3 down back. Obviously, the worry is his age, but he's missed a bit of football. You know, if he's fit and ready to go. In fact, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Eckler because I do think there's no way he comes back round to me. And I think that I need that third quarter. I think there's more wide receivers later on that I'm happy taking over more backs later on that I'm happy taking, you know. Oh, there, Johnny's not happy.
Well, I was going to say I'd be between Eckler and Jordan Mason. So I think Johnny might take Jordan Mason here because that's or
Johnny,
Scatterbo. I'd be happy, or even I think those four: Etienne, Scatterbo, Mason, Eckler. I don't think there's much. I'd say Etienne's more the dart throw, and same as like Scatterbo and Etienne are more dart throws maybe. But I think Mason and Eckler. I don't think there'll be much between them. You know.
I think there will be. I think Eckler's going to be leading that back, whereas I think while Aaron Jones is there. In fact, it's going to be a 50-50 share, and I don't think that'll be enough to garner as many points as Eckler will get on his own. And I know that they've got the kind of, Daniels uses his legs a lot as well, and he'll run a lot. But I think Eckler's the one there. I think Mason's too much of a timeshare. The same with Etienne. I mean, I don't even know who's going to get the touches between him and Bigsby. And the lad Tootin, he's not far behind. So
I know.
they
I
all
thought one
kind
of
of
them might
worry
get
me.
traded. I thought one of them might get traded. Bigsby or and I thought one of them. I thought maybe the Cowboys would come in for one of them, maybe, or you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it still might happen, and if it does, then it opens it up for the other one. But at this stage, I can't get on board with any of them because I just don't know who's going to be getting it, and I think it'll be a bit of all three, and that scares me to death. So I just like to leave that alone. So
So what
here's
have you got
Graham does
so
it
far?
talk
You've
again. So
got
he's pulled the trigger on Rome. I don't hate it, because I think he's going to be. I think he's going to do more than DJ Moore does this year. I've got to say, I think Rome will become the number one this year. But I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed there, and I would rather take the roll of the dice on Loveland for later on in the season. Hoping that he comes into it a lot.
there's three wide receivers. I'm looking at taking a wide receiver. I think, and there was three, and so there's still two of them. So we'll see what happens here. But there's also a running back. I'd like one of those running backs as well. I really like Scatterbo. Like, I really think he could be a league winner. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. As for, I'm looking at QBs. I still think there's enough guys I like there. As now that Keltman isn't drafting all the QBs. Thing
Nice
so
on the tight end.
Tight end is really interesting now. There is guys I'd like. Like, I think they're at a fair value right now. I think Ingram's a good value there now. I think Loveland's a good value there now. I see Pitts has climbed up the draft board. Like, I liked Pitts when he was further down. I don't like Pitts where he, like, according to ADPs, the third tight end available right now. I don't like that. But or Kincaid, I don't like them two. But after that, I like Kraft as well. So
I like Kincaid. I've got to say.
Kincaid's a guy I didn't mind, depending where he was. Like, I suppose this is just going by ADP. This could be rounds later. Kincaid goes, which is fine. But Ingram, Loveland, and Kraft, those three tight ends, I think they're a good value for right now. Like, you look at Andrews, Njoku, Warren, and Hawkinson. Like, I would put Ingram, Loveland, and Kraft in the same mix as those guys. So and it's a round later. So I think those tight ends are a value right now, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And especially, you don't have one when you don't have one at this stage, you've kind of got to look to get one of them. I think, right down. I think Smith will do well in that offense as well. I think Rodgers will look for him a lot. But right down to kind of there, I think and then it's another wee drop off after that again. I think maybe even Jake Ferguson, he should, the trouble there is that you've got Pickens and Lamb there, it's how much is he going to get, really? So where are you going here then? Are you thinking tight end? Are you thinking receiver?
I'm going go receiver, and there's a safe one and one that's more upsidey. And I don't, if the safe one's definitely not getting back to me. And the upsidey one, I don't think he will either. So I've got to pick one of them. And I'm going for the upsidey one, and it's Josh Downs. It is a bit further down, but I've missed out on a Booker, I've missed out on Ridley, and I've missed out on Pearsall. These are three guys that I've been drafting a lot, and Josh Downs is the fourth one I've been drafting a lot. I said in the group chat a couple of weeks ago, I realised quite early on during draft season that those four guys, you can kind of you kind of get one or two of them, and so I really wanted one of them. So I'm taking Downs. At least I got one of my guys that I've been drafting.
I don't hate the pick at all. Do you know, I thought you'd taken Jordan Addison, but he went to Sean next, and I'm thinking, no, that's a 3-game suspension, though. But yeah, no, I like Josh Downs. I've been drafting him quite a bit as well. I don't hate that pick at all. As I said, he's a downfield threat, and I like it even more with it being Daniel Jones. And that's not to say Daniel Jones is a good quarterback, but he's solid. He'll get the ball out, he'll complete passes, and I think Downs will benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely. I actually thought Johnny took him. Johnny took Pittman, and so I was a bit like, oh no, I thought Johnny had took him at first.
Oh yeah,
So at least I got, like I'm saying, there was those 4 guys, and I got one of them. So I am happy that I got one of them. But I think it could be a decision I regret, because that Myers, I do think he is. I think he is going to be reliable.
I mean, I think he'll be reliable for sure, but do you know who I like that's went there? Graham Farquhar's got him, Stefan Diggs. I think he could be. I think May's going to be really good this year, and if May's going to be really good this year, I think Diggs is going to be the one that benefits the most from that. So in the 7th round, I think that's a massive pick.
I agree. He's a great value. I just have him. He's like, see these wide receivers I like. He's the last one. Like, I have Myers and Josh Downs ahead of him. But I mean, like, there's probably no much in it. Like, I think it's a great pick. It's definitely a value. If Myers and Downs weren't there, I would have went Diggs, and there was a good chance that happened after you took Eckler. There was a good chance that Myers and Downs weren't there, so I was prepared to take Diggs for that last pick. Right, we better tag Pez, because Pez has been drafted, but I've been tagging him, so I'm just going to tag him quickly.
I've got to say, I'm happy to see that there's not been a run of quarterbacks or anything silly like that. It's I was kind of it might come before it comes back round to me, but there are enough quarterbacks there, like you say, that I'm happy to go with. So I'm very happy that I've not seen a run of quarterbacks yet. And I hope
so now I'm debating here. Right, so Pez has got McBride, so he's definitely not taking a tight end.
Oh, Pez likes his tight ends, remember?
To be fair, actually, I thought there was one left. I thought, Loveland just went. So I thought I'd seen Kraft go, right. So I think I'm going to be waiting on tight end again here. It is a risk, though, because there's no many left. Oh, do I have to take one of these guys now? No.
There's still enough left that I like. I'm passing. See, I also don't mind taking a swing on one of those rookies and then getting one even after them, behind them. Like a Theo Johnson. Or one of Theo Johnson's one that I'm looking at. I think Ben Sinnott's going to. How much more football can Zach Ertz play? In all honesty, I mean, come on. He's about 62 years old, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Right now, I've got a decision to make here. I'm looking at the running backs, and is that there's one person that stands out for me. There is one, and it is an upside shot. Or at wide receiver, before the injury, I was higher on Jennings than I was on Pearsall. Like, I was drafting Jennings quite a lot. But this injury has really put me off him, and that's why I've been going Pearsall now. But before that injury, I'm just not the biggest fan.
Pearsall's got much bigger upside for me. He's young. He's going into year 2. Jennings he's a journeyman. He got lucky with some injuries and he got in, and he done well. But he's doing well in a good offense. All he has to do is catch a bloody ball, which he done well. But I hear what you're saying. But I've always been Pearsall over Jennings.
Right, I've got a decision to make here. I'm looking at my wide receivers, who I've got, and I'm thinking, oh God, my time's running out here. Oh, I don't like. See, my problem is I'm at a space here where I don't really like anyone, so I'm just going to take the upside shot on a bit of depth as well. But I think this guy could end up being the RB1. I'm going to take Braylon Allen. I know it's a bit early, but I didn't really.
That hurts. I want it to turn back round to me.
So
I didn't. Braylon Allen this year. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'm not the biggest Breece Hall fan. He's a very good player and all that, but I think Braylon Allen's got. So I think Braylon Allen could end up taking over him.
The other thing that put me off him, I do have Garrett Wilson as well. Double Jets offense might not be the best idea, but in this, see when you're in a 16-teamer, I mean, this looks like the 7th round. This is usually like maybe the 10th, and
yeah, of course.
So I'm happy. That is a shot, you know. But I was looking at all these wide receivers, and I just didn't see much between them all. I just felt they were all a muchness, you know.
Yeah, I mean you've got to be taking shots now, I think, because that's kind of the full team's just up. You know, obviously that I've got my onesies still to go, but we're heading to the bench now, and it's now it's time to take your shots. You know, you should have your starters, take your shots now, and there are still some guys that you can plug into your starting lineup, no bother. You know.
Well, Sim said I just sniped him, so he took Pearsall, and I got Braylon Allen. As usual, Sim, I think you came out on top there. Eh?
Yeah, it's Braylon Allen is. Yeah, I mean he's got a lot of upside for sure.
It was funny. I was looking over the Orkney Bowl teams, and like I seen Sim had like a decent team, and I just wasn't talking about him. He beat me in 2 finals last year, and I've had enough of Sim, to be quite frank with you. And then Johnny brings up right at the end, and what about Sim's team? And I'm like, yes, Johnny, it's a fantastic team. Can we move on, please? You know.
And here comes the quarterback run. I can see it coming now. I just hope that one of the ones that I want comes along to me.
I think that's where I'm looking here as well. And you know what? You kind of I'm really tempted to take here, because obviously Sim's not going to take 2 quarterbacks here. I'm tempted to take Justin Fields here for the start with Garrett Wilson.
I mean, the stack is. I do like. I mean, people say a stack's for best ball, but I don't agree. I think a stack can do you really well in redraft and stuff as well, because you know, but it's boom or bust. You know, you stick your stack in and it's boom or bust. If they go well, you're likely going to win the game. You know.
Right, so it's going to go to a minute a pick. So when we're on a pick, Craig, we're just going to have to just have to make the pick.
Yeah.
So I think I'm looking at the wide receivers here. I do think there's not much between them. There's a lot of guys there. Tight ends, I'm really feeling the same. Now, I'm tempted to go running back here, if I'm being honest again. I'm really tempted. See if there was somebody that stood out here, I would be hitting running back. But again, I'm really not seeing it. So I'm going to do what I said. New York Jets. I'm all in, pal. I'm all in. So we'll see this, but seeing these, as I'm saying, when you're at the end of a draft, you obviously I've gave up a pick. You know what I mean? To make the playoffs, this is the kind of way. Like this, I could come last in this league, you know. But I think I'm trying to give myself a chance to make the playoffs again, you know.
I mean, I would have loved it. I would love the stack if it wasn't for the fact that you had Braylon Allen stackled in between it. Now you get 3 New York Jets, and you're hanging your hat on MetLife Stadium being green this year, and that's a pretty sugary peg. I'm not going to lie.
Definitely, I know. To be fair, Braylon Allen is more the upside. Like maybe, you know, God, what's his name? The running back one for the Jets. Oh, I forgot his name.
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, that's it. You know what I mean? It's an injury insurance as well. He has gone down injured in the past, you know. And he might get, you know, like he's openly said at the start of summer camp, he knows he's not getting a deal. So if things go bad in the season, he might just throw his dummy out, being like, you know what, I'm not going to give 100%. You're not keeping me. We're having a crap season. And Braylon Allen might just get, oh, you know what, you don't know it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But then if that happens, you're rolling out Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson, and Braylon Allen every week. It's the New York fucking Jets. Do you know what I mean? That's my point.
I know. To be fair, I was between. I like that Prescott. I think that's a good pick. I was tempted to take Dak.
I like Dak as well.
Kyler Murray and Justin Fields.
They've got no defence anymore because Mika came to us, so they're going to need to go to the air. So Dak's going to be thrown it left, right, and centre this year because they're going to be chasing 30 points every week.
I like that Jordan Love pick. I think Jordan Love. See, for me, I have Jordan. I have Jordan Love in the same place as Dak Prescott. I really don't think there's much between Dak and Jordan Love.
I do. I think Jordan Love's going to be much better than Dak Prescott. I think Jordan Love's going to be great this season. I think he was hurt last year and it was hurting him. And I think he's going to bounce back massively this year. And I think that's why we went and got Mika and went all in, because I think they realise that, he's there. But anyway, we'll see. So I'm going to look at get my quarterback in now. I think I've got it. I don't want to risk leaving it another round, because the one that I really think's going to go and really pick up from year one is still there, and I think he's going to have a big year, and it's going to be Drake May.
Yeah,
I'll take him now and get him into my team, and then I'll maybe look to stack that later on with either Williams or Douglas, depending on how the draft goes. Because again, I think that if Drake May does go well, I think it's going to be those are going to be the three receivers. It's going to be Diggs, it's going to be Douglas, and it's going to be Williams. So I might try and do that later on.
Yeah, I do. Like, if I didn't have Garrett Wilson, I think Jordan Love and Drake May, I would have been close. But I have a hard time. See, when you don't have any stack on the board, who are you going, Kyler Murray or Fields? Because I've just kind of been going a bit of mix. But Kyler Murray does seem to get picked before Fields quite a lot, even rounds earlier. And I just think Fields is the better value there if Kyler Murray's going a lot earlier.
The thing about it is, I think Fields has got the bigger ceiling, but I think Murray's got the higher floor. Fields has got the lower floor. Murray's, you're going to get points from Murray. You're going to get your 14, 15 a week. Is he going to burst out and give you your 25, 26 a week every now and then? Whereas Fields might do that, but he might also chuck in a few threes and a few fours and a few fives. And I think that's the difference there. It is, are you wanting consistency or are you wanting a high ceiling?
Definitely. So Johnny keeps getting sniped here, which is, we love to see it. Johnny, are you able to jump on for a second just to tell us what players have been sniped from you?
Johnny's Drake May, obviously. He's not like Drake May there, that's for sure. That's twice I've annoyed him, because I think I annoyed him with Eckler as well. Sorry, boss.
I know he's not feeling well. He might not be able to jump on. His voice is still not great, but we'll see. He might jump on and explain how angry he is. We always like to see some Giants tears there.
There goes Kyle Pitts. So that's is this going to be a wee run of tight ends that are going now? Because the thing is, there's still some tight ends there. So when this comes along to me, I've got to look and think, do I want to pick up the tight end now? Or do I need to get another running back or wide receiver before it spins all back around again? I've only got 3 running backs. I've only got 4 wide receivers. And I leave it, and there Johnny's a bit of a tight end, so I can easily see a run of tight ends going here. There are a few running backs I like. There are a few wide receivers I like. There's a couple of running backs down there that I think are one injury away from being very good. And there's one that I think might be good from the get-go, and that's Dylan Sampson. I think that he's going to get as many touches as Ford does, and if he does better with him, he'll get more from the get-go, and Judkins is just a non-starter at the moment, so I might go down and pick him up. And the other options, a wide receiver can wait now. Yeah, I think I'm going to go down and get Dylan Sampson, because as I say, I think he's going to get the ball a lot to start the season, and if he does well with it, I don't see why they would take it off him.
That's Kincaid gone as well. So is that who you would have went, you think, Kincaid?
Yeah, I would have went Kincaid for my tight end if I was going to go down that route, but I'm just going to kind of leave tight end and see what comes back around again. I've taken my quarterback now, and it's by week 14, so I've got no intention of taking a second quarterback, so that's me done for quarterback.
Now, what do you think of Shaheed? What do you think of Shaheed?
No.
You like Shaheed? I wonder if he gets more involved, not just stretching the field. I wonder, and kind of Olave being, Olave, I wonder if he's going to have a big season. I quite like that Shaheed pick, just for at this stage of our draft.
I mean, it's worth the dart throw, certainly at this stage, it's, he could, and he'll have big games, but again, he's going to be boom or bust. He's going to have games that he scores 20, 25 points, and he's going to have games where he scores 0 points, Because
see, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if that'll change this year.
It's Rattler, and Alavi is the number one, and if he's fit and if he's healthy and if he's going, Alavi's a superb, a top class wide receiver, And Brendan Cooks is still there; he won't get nothing. Kamara takes a lot of catches as well, especially from a quarterback like Spencer Rattler. So, yeah, I mean, he'll have big weeks, but it's getting him in at the right time and having him on the bench in the right time, and that's a headache I just don't need.
So there's somebody I'm hoping is going to drop to me here. So we'll see. I think I'm definitely and to be fair, I might end up losing out somewhere else. I think I'll have to, if he drops here, we'll see. I'll have to take him because I've got a funny feeling Sim will take him if I don't. This is my problem. I know I've got a hawk at the back of me here, so I can't just see. Oh, that was one of them. There was two actually. I like that Douglas pick's a great. I think he's a great value. That Budge has just picked a great value there. There's one more though. Let me try and tag Pest quickly here. See if he'll get on in time. I don't know. So we'll see if he comes. But that's a great pick by Budge. As a cracking pick actually. I think he's a great value. I actually thought you would maybe take him.
I could have done, but there's more wide receivers to come, I think. Whereas there's a couple of wide receivers still to come that I've got my eye on that I think might do okay, So whereas the running backs were getting really, really bare, and I did need another running back, so I've decided I had to go the running back. But Douglas was definitely in consideration if I decided to go wide receiver there.
So Johnny's said who he got sniped by. He got sniped for Daniels, Pickens, Eckler, and May. So you've sniped him twice, Craig. Well done. Right, so the person I wanted is here, and remember I was telling you about Shaheed. It's the same with this guy, and I know he's got a wee bit of an injury, but he's going to be coming back. And there's talks he's been playing a lot more snaps. It's Marvin Mims.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going Mims there. I don't hate it. I think they're going to be very good this year, and I think Bo Nix will be very good this year. I don't hate it at all. Sutton's obviously the number one, but I think the rest of them, Mims has got the lead now for the bona fide number two. And I don't hate it. One of the ones I'm looking at for later on as well down the line is Franklin. I think he'll do okay there as well. I think they'll all get their touches.
Well, there was three wide receivers: Shaheed, Douglas, and Mims. And Douglas, I do have a bit higher. I think Douglas is better than Shaheed and Mims. I think Douglas is a great pick. I really do. But Shaheed and Mims, I think they're in the same boat. There's talks of them being on the field a lot more. They're in more snaps, so they're not just going to be stretching the field. They shouldn't be as boom or bust. They should have a better flow. So I'm glad I did get one of those guys. Right, let's see, Sam, if he's going to take the guy I'm wanting next. Let's see where he goes. There is somebody I'm after here.
That's another one gone. I was hoping would come back along to me. I like that Deontay Thornton as well. He's been really good in the off season, and that's one I've got my eye on to pick up type thing, and he's gone now.
Yep, so Sim's got to make. I wonder where he's going to go actually. He could go tight end here, or is he going to play a longer game here?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to get the tight ends. I mean, there's still enough there, that there's one there that you can plug in and play, but it's certainly not going to be. You're not going to win many games with your tight end from now on, There's no.
I'll be honest. I'm looking at. I've got one player I'm really wanting here, but I'm also looking at. It wasn't. I was just about to say, if my player went, I would have took Jaden Blue if my player went. But the player who I'm wanting is who I've been drafting all year, Bretton Strange. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously the number one tight end in Jacksonville now. It remains to be seen how many touches, how many targets he gets with Hunter there now. But I agree with you. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll do you well. I've drafted him in a couple of places myself.
Well, last year I actually made a mistake, and I went for it. There was a couple. There's just a couple of drafts where you really learn something, and like I said, if I'm not getting Bowers, McBride, or Kittle, I'm kind of leaving the tight end till later on. And in this league last year, I went extreme. I didn't draft a tight end at all, and that was always my plan. I was going to pick up tight ends off the waivers because I think I must have had like a pup player that I took, and I was just going to put them on my IR and then pick up a tight end from the waiver wire. And then that's when it dawned on me, this is a 16-team league, and everyone's drafting at least 2 tight ends. Mate, my tight ends were horrendous. I think I had to trade for a tight end maybe in the end. Like, I learnt my lesson. It was like, if you're going to leave it super late, make sure it's the second last round. You know what I mean? Because because you're out of players in a 16-team league. So all the tight ends, like I think Likely was my starting tight end, maybe, you know? So
it's one of those positions where you do need to leave it. If you don't get one, you just leave it. But there's no tight end premium here, so it's not the biggest disaster in the world, you know. So I'm now looking at, I've got to take either wide receiver or tight end here. I've got my 4 running backs that I'm looking at now. And tight end's it's tough. Do I let it go one more round, or do I pick up a Hunter Henry or a Okonkwo to go with? Do I need to go 2 in a row here, or do I need to go and get another wide receiver? Because there are still wide receivers there that I like, and I think there's another couple of wide receivers that come around. So I'm going to go and pick up a Conco and hope that he gets involved with Cam Ward. You know, maybe Cam Ward needs a safety blanket from time to time, and that will be the one that he dumps it off to. So
his upside,
that's me now filled my first team, the first team as well. The positions are filled, and now it's kind of pick up the bench players. But I mean, this is where games can be. This is where leagues can be won and lost. You know, the bench players, because you know, in a league like this, 16-teamer, that the agency is very, very dry. You know, there's not much in it. So if you need to get those bench players right for if you pick up a few injuries inevitably along the way. You know.
yeah, definitely. Actually, like
Johnny's just sniped me for one that was I wanted to come back round to me. I wanted Torrey Horton to come back round. I almost went Torrey Horton there, and I thought, no, he'll still be there. So there you go, Johnny. You've got me back.
I think Chickahonko, though, I think like Focus said he might lose his job to Gunnar Helm, which I know that is a possibility, but I think the things coming to camp have been pretty positive. And like, see with tight end, it's the one position where physicality tends to be the most important thing. See, when you're looking at a breakout, it's the most physical guys that break out. And Chickahonko, there's not many that are more physical than him. So if you're going to, like, I think he is. Like, I'm not convinced that he'll lose a job. I don't think he'll lose his job to Gunnar Helm. I'm not in that camp. I think he will be the starter.
Oh yeah, so a definitely starter. I don't see. There's no. See, there goes. That's another one. I was wanting to come back around to me, Ollie Gordon. It's he's had a Achan injury away from being, you know, very, very relevant. And Achan's been injured before. Now, don't get me wrong. Achan's a keeper for me in the home league, and I'm going for back to back. No one's done it before, so I really hope he does this season. But Ollie Gordon's been doing good things, and I would have taken him if I came back around again, maybe. I think it's all about bench players now. So it's all about
Johnny saying he would have took Ollie Gordon as well.
There you go then. So he wouldn't have, yes, fair enough.
What's your thoughts on Hunter Henry? I've seen him just suddenly going, like he was going undrafted in all my leagues, and then suddenly I've seen folk taking him even before where he's gone now. Is a positive camp talk on him?
I mean, he's Hunter Henry, you know, he knows what he's doing, you know, and he's a tight end. He's going to have big weeks. He's going to have decent weeks. He's going to have 0 weeks as well. But I nearly took him because I have Drake May, but I went with Conco instead. And now it's, do I take another tight end, my cover tight end now, or do I just jump into the wide receiver market again? I think I've got to jump into the wide receiver market here because they're getting less and less now. I like Kyle Williams.
You're on the timer here, by the way.
But there's one that I like more, and I think he's. Oh no, I've just taken a Conco, so I can't take him on or because I don't want to be too deep there. Okay, I'm just going to go for the home team. I'm going to say that Romeo Dubs is going to be fine. I don't see why he won't be. I don't know why he's going this late, and I'm going to pick him up.
Love that fact. I've been drafting,
and I think Jordan Love's going to do well. So there we go. I always take one packer, and there we go. It's Romeo this year.
I would have took Dubs ahead of that. I've been taking. I don't understand that. Dubs is like, I know, like he's lit. Well, I hope he's not going to do as well as Zay Flowers, but I think he's like that for the Packers. I just think he'll play so many snaps. He's like, you know what I mean. And all the packages they play, he just seems to be the one that's on the field. So I think that's a great pick. Like I know you were tempted by Corey Horton. I would have took Dibs before Trey Harris. I would have took him before Leggett. I would have took him before Ayuk. You know what I mean? I would have, see, after I took Mims, he would have been the next guy up for me. You know, I would have took Romeo Dibs before all these guys. I like Burden as well, only because he can only play the slot. So he's going to play the slot because it's the only position he can play. So I think Burden's, I think he's off a pick. But I am going down your route. I am thinking I'm going to maybe grab my second tight end here because they are flying off the board now. So I'm looking down here, and there is still a couple. But
Woody Marks for Dougie, man, that's a pick. He's going with the Woody Marks route. I'm not. I think. I mean, as the season goes on, he's maybe going to get more and more. But I do think that they're going to go with Chubb and Pierce in the first instance. You know, and if one of them kicks on, then I don't see Marks getting in a whole lot if they two stay fit. But yeah, I mean, I can see the upside at the back end of the season, I guess.
Right, so I'm between, because Pez I don't think is going to take another tight end here. He's got two. I'm between Ario and Ferguson. I've been taking Ario a lot more. I just think he's going to have a better situation. I think he's going to have more opportunities in Ferguson because Higbee's still there as well, and McVay likes Higbee. Believe it or not, he does. He does. He rates Higbee, but it is the Rams' offense, and you kind of want a bit of the Rams' offense usually. So I am between Ario and Ferguson here. So I'm going to have to make a pick here, and I think, you know what? I've been in him all draft season. I'm going to go for him again. I'm going to go for Ario. That's who I'm picking.
I was hoping you were going the other way. I was wanting Ario to come back round, but there you go. PPR third down guy, Douglas says. So yeah, I mean I get it. I'm not saying it's a bad pick or anything. I just I don't see him getting much. He's a good pick for the back end of the season. I think he'll get more and more as the season goes on. But I think that both Pierce and Chubb are ahead of him, and if Mixon comes back, then he's going to descend into nothing. That's a kind of betting on Mixon not coming back pick, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
Theo Johnston. Alan took Theo Johnston. That's annoying. That's the one I wanted to come back round after you took Ario. Two of them went boom boom. Conco's not the best tight end to be going one, just with one as well, but they're really getting thin now. It's going to need to be Ferguson for me, I think.
Well, I was about to say, I'm thinking about taking another one here. All right, well, sorry. Well, I always want to take Harold Fannin, actually. Who am I going to go here? You know what I'm thinking? It's because my bye weeks, I went double bye week with my tight ends here.
So,
but it's not till week 8. So that's why I was maybe going to go Fannin. So I'm thinking here. So I'll go. You know what? This is going to be a disgusting pick, man. Am I going to have to take Big Pat Freiermuth here?
Oh God, he's taking a third tight end.
Oh, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to take this guy. That's what I'm taking.
That's like that. If you're taking a third tight end, that's the one to take there, I think. But question the three, and I know you've got two in the same bye week, but that's a week 8 problem. You know, bring one in from the agency.
Potentially, but I mean, at this stage of the draft, I'm looking at the guys there, and there was nobody screaming out at me there.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to take. I mean, who knows? I might trade one of them. You know, never know. But I've got.
You're not getting a trade for one of them. You can dream on about a trade, man. You'll need to follow the agency. I'm afraid if you're going rid of him. What are you looking for? A digestive biscuit, a cup of tea?
Hey, well, like I said, seeing these 16 teamers, honestly, you'll be surprised. Like it happened to me last year. Like tight ends were honestly, I struggled with tight ends last year. And this, so
I could easily be running. The thing is, there's no tight end premium, so I'm happy. It's a kind of throwaway position for me at this stage. Don't get me wrong. If I'm getting one of the premiums, then fine, and I'm happy taking them. But at this stage, it's just a throwaway position for me now. Try and grab 3 or 4, 5 points and move on. And try and be stronger everywhere else. That said, I mean, I
well,
might go another one here. It depends what comes round. I could. There's still one maybe. In fact, there's one down there that there's one down there that I actually think's going to maybe have a wee bust out here, and I think the one in front of him's going to die a horrible death at some point before the end of the season. So I might have to go down that route, and I might have to take him here because I know that Graham knows what I'm talking about. So there's a
who's
wee chance.
Ross? Somebody said Ross is the. Oh yeah, he's got Likely and Andrews for the same team there. But yeah, well, there is one player I've got on my queue here who I would like, and we'll see if he gets to me. I'll kind of be surprised if he does, to be honest. I'm just making sure. I like to see at this stage of the league. I just like to make sure I don't need a kicker or a defence or something. But no, we don't.
No,
So
nothing like that.
ideally here, I'm going to be taking a wide receiver and a running back here. I'm looking at Fields. His bye week's not till week 9. So worst comes to worst, by week 9, I'll just drop one of my tight ends.
That's yeah. Well, you've got 3 of them to drop.
Because their buys are
I'm
week 8.
going to have to pull it. I'm going to have to pull the trigger on him here just in case he doesn't come back round. But I think he's going to be the number 1 by the end of the year. I'm going to take Ben Sinnott of the Washington Commanders because Zach Ertz is an injury away from retirement, and I do think he's got decent enough hands, and I think that he can be a player in that offense.
You're right. He might be worth it. I think it was last season I drafted him a fair bit. And obviously, never seen the field, so but hopefully, year 2 tight end.
I now need to take a wide receiver this next run around because I need another wide receiver plugged in there for cover. So we'll see who comes back around, but I'm definitely looking receiver this time around because they're getting they're starting to thin out now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think my next pick might have to be a receiver as well, receiver or running back. But again, it'll depend. I'll have a look at saying that. Look at the QBs. QBs are all gone as well. I might be struggling to get enough. But by week 9, who knows? Maybe Shadur Sanders is starting week 9. Who knows?
Well, I mean, it's I'm not worried about my quarterback. I've got one, and it's by the time it comes around, there will be quarterbacks in the agency who are starting, So I'm not worried about that. I never run with 2 quarterbacks in a redraft, even a 16-teamer, because unless someone's sitting with 3, there's always going to be one starter in there, because I'm only sitting with 1. So unless some idiot's sitting with 3, and why would you sit with 3 quarterbacks when you've only got how many spots on the bench, 4 or 5? It's a waste of a bench spot if you're sitting with 3 of them.
I think we'll see if you're high on something like. See, for me, the reason why I've took Sanders there, and I'm quite happy to take him, is because I think Bryce Young's going to have. I think he will continue to play well. So that's why my bet on Sanders isn't because of him specifically. It's more to do with Bryce Young. But I would like to have another guy if I'm taking Young. See if you know what I mean. Like as well, yourself.
I get having 2. I for sure get having 2, having that backup. I just don't see why you need 3. I think if you've got 3, you're only then got 3 other bench spots to cover every other position. And so you've got three guys for one position when you've only got 5 spots on the bench. I just don't. I think it's a crazy move, but I mean that's just me. I've always been that way. I've always been I get having 2. I get having the cover if you're not got one of the top guys. But I don't get having 3.
I think it's you on the clock, by the way. You better hurry up.
Oh shit! So shit. So going to be wide receiver here. It has to be wide receiver here. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to pick up the one that I said earlier. He'll either be great or he'll be rubbish and there'll be nothing in between. So I'm going to take Troy Franklin and see what I get out of him.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, Shipley pick, just because.
So they are. Barkley one injury away and Shipley's in and away he goes.
Definitely.
I think it's a very good running back as well.
How long's Jalen Coker on the IR for? Because that's a great pick, but I'm assuming that's why he's dropped so far. Actually.
As he's on
Oh,
I don't know how long
groovy.
he's on IR for.
Oh my God. Amari Cooper was the guy I was hoping came back to me. That was the one. That's now.
Gary's robots away with him.
I'm surprised actually. He must have had him on a list. He must have, because that one Donovan picked a solid.
He would have done his list. For sure, he would have done his list. Everyone who's not in would have done their list. I'm pretty confident on that. You're not chucking 20 quid into a league and then not playing it, you know?
Yep. So I've got a running back I like. So let's see if Pez is going to snipe me on my running back here. We'll soon find out. No, he didn't.
I like there as well.
So I'm going to take Taj Brooks. That's who I like.
That's who I like. That's who I like there. Taj Brooks is exactly who I like there. Again, he's if Chase Brown was to get hurt, and I think Chase Brown's going to get a lot of touches early on, so Taj Brooks is there and waiting and done well in the pre-season, so good pick.
Yeah, I'm looking at wide receiver here, and it is ugly. What's the latest on Wicks?
It's all ugly now, isn't it? It's best player available now, isn't it? It shouldn't matter what position, and that's exactly where I'm at. What have I got? I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running back, 6 wide receivers. I've got 3, 4 running backs and 2 tight ends. So ideally, you take running back for a 5th running back, but
well, I'm going to play the game here because there's nobody I really like, so I might as well just play the game here, and I'm going to take Watson, and I'll pick somebody up. I'll stick him on my IR, and I'll pick somebody up.
I like it a lot. Do you know, I almost done that in the last pick, and then until I forgot, because I forgot I had Dubs. But if I didn't have Dubs, that's exactly what I was going to do in the last pick. He's only going to miss about 4 weeks or so, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And as you say, it's the last round, so you can stash him in your IR and pick someone up from agency straight away. And and if you make it all the way through, then you've got an absolute deep threat in the run in at the end of the season,
Well, and you just think as well, Reed's already injured. I mean, injuries happening, you don't know. So Watson could come off of his injury, and he's Wicks has got some. I was asking you about Wicks, because I would normally take Wicks over Dubs if I'm being honest with you. But this year I haven't been.
Many for me. It drops too many for me. Dubs is just more consistent. Wicks drops way too many for me. But as I say, I think Christian Watson is that I think when he comes back, he will be. There's every chance he'll be the number one again when he comes back. He'll be the number one target. So yeah, if he comes back fit and he stays fit, that's the problem you've got with Watson. He's kind of always been injured. He's a bit like Marshawn Lloyd. You can't get him on the field,
I tell you
So
what, you know who's came back to you here? Terrace Ferguson's still kicking about. I almost took him 3 rounds earlier. I'm surprised, folk like Taysom Hill and Noah Gray went ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could do okay as well. I agree, and but it's just, there's no way I'm taking three tight ends. I can't do that. Not when it's not tight end premium. So I'm looking down, and the wide receivers are very thin on the ground now, aren't they? And it's kind of where I want to go. It's where I want to be. I want to take a wide receiver. I'm struggling to find one that I'll actually want to take, and I've got 14 seconds left. So I think I'm just going to need to roll a bit of dice here and take. I've not got a piece of the Kansas City offense yet, so I'm going to hope that
To be fair, you can always there's no timer on the waivers, so you could always drop
Cheers,
him
Alan.
for. You can have a look on waivers and drop Royals. He's your last pick.
That's that exactly. It's the last pick, so it's throw one in there, and he's not going to be in the first team. So if he does do something, then he stays in, and if he doesn't, then he gets dropped. It's that simple.
Well, I tell you what, I was dreading this draft a wee bit because I was picking last and with my keeper situation, and then you have my pick, but see getting Genty and Achan for my keepers slots, I'm over the moon at that, and then. Just even obviously I had that Booker and Pierce will both go in and Ridley there. I was hoping to get one of them, but other than that, I mean, with the pick I got a few that was later on, I got down. So honestly, this has went a lot better. I honestly thought, I might just have to eat this season, but I think I've got a roster that I could maybe get into the playoffs here. We'll see what happens.
I think you've done okay. So, list it out then. I'll list mine out first. So, I've got Drake May at quarterback. At running back, I've got Christian McCaffrey. I've got Caleb Johnson. I've got Austin Eckler. I've got Dylan Sampson. And no more. And then at wide receiver, I've got Malik Neighbours. I've got Tyreek Hill. I've got Jameson Williams. I've got Mika Ibuka. I've got Romeo Dubs. And I've got Troy Franklin. I've got Jalen Royals. At tight end, I've got Chigga Kwonko and Ben Sinnott. What have you got?
Well, I think I'll just get a quick comment. I actually think, see if you hit with Caleb Johnson and Tyreek Hill, I think you'll have a very strong team. So for myself, I've got at quarterback, I've got Justin Fields, and at running back, I've got Genty, Achan, Trevion Henderson, and Braylon Allen and Taj Brooks there at the end. My wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, and Christian Watson. My tight ends are Bretton Strange, Ario, and Sanders. And that's it. That is my team.
I love your running back room. I've got to say, I love your running back room. Not so great. I'm not so high on your wide receiver room. I think you're going to need the three of them. Certainly the three of them are going to be starters kind of for you every week. But before Watson comes back, so they're going to need to perform. But if they do, I think your running back room's really, really strong there. I think it'll probably be the strongest running back room.
Yeah, I think my wide receivers, like I said, the guys I've went for are all guys that they're all volume. Like Garrett Wilson and Zay Flowers, they're just safe floors. Hopefully, Josh Downs, that's the upside guy, but he has got risk. You're right. My wide receivers are going to decide what I do. Like I'm saying, I was happy to get Garrett Wilson where I got him, but Zay, he was just too good a value not to take him there. So we'll see how he goes. But it's been good. This is us coming to the end of the draft season. The season's kicking off. Are you all ready for your competitions, Craig?
Time to go, Martin. It's time to go. It's time to start up the engines. I can't wait. We're a week away now. And I'm excited for it. I've got to say, I'm excited for trying to defend my home league. I'm excited for trying to get promoted in Orkney Bowl. I'm excited for seeing how the Packers do and see if we can, now the chips are in. It does it. It gets you going, the chips are in, so let's see what happens. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season.
Yeah, football is back, and I think it was a great draft actually. I mean, I think everyone's done really well, and good luck to everyone, apart from Sim, obviously.
Good luck to everyone, and let the season begin. Let the battle commence. Bring it, bitches.
Right, so that's a bye for me, a bye for Craig, and obviously a bye for Johnny as well behind the scenes. See you later.
Night, everyone.